Hello and welcome to another excelattheoffice.com video. My name's Adrian and this is the next in my mini-series on how to create a dashboard of data in Excel like this, which adjusts based on your selections down the bottom. Now there's lots of videos out there that will tell you how to do dashboards in Excel. There's lots of that might tell you how to do them incredibly quickly. This is a series that shows you how to do it properly, so you only really need to learn once and then you can go forth and prosper with your own data. This is video 4 in the series, and in this video I'm going to go to my follow along whereby we're going to create the canvas for the dashboard itself. So in previous videos I gave you a demo. In video 1 I gave you a demo of this dashboard, what the benefits are and how it works and things. In video 2 we set up all the data, including the calculations based on that raw data. In video 3 I showed you how to set up all these pivot tables, which your charts are going to look like. But now in video 4, let's get, before we put all the charts in there, this dashboard canvas. So all this kind of nice set columns, the colored area at the top, the space for all the charts and the space for the slicers, and set up the page breaks so that it all looks nice when it's, for example, saved to a PDF based on your selection. And I've selected admin, for example. I can now export this and save it as a PDF. So let's get to it. Before we get into the detail, you might like to just take a look at this, where I've outlined a blog on my excelattheoffice.com/blog, outlined all the steps. This is step 4. But you might want to just go ahead and run through these steps. But this is what I'm going to run through in this shorter step 4 video. So the first thing I'm going to do is select all my columns that I'm going to use, which is from A to AZ, nice and easy to remember, the 52 columns, because it's twice through the alphabet. And I'm going to narrow this to 30 pixels wide, if I can select the right width. Oh, that's 33, that's 30. There we go. So you can be quite precise with that. So that's the area, that's the width of my dashboard, and the length of it is going to be to row 105. I've already determined that before, bear with me a moment. Yeah, so my last bit with all the slicers in is in row 83 to 105. My middle bit is row 9 to 82, and my header section is 1 to 8. So I've got those columns set now. The reason I do that is just really nice. Remember, as a kid you're working with graph paper in a maths lesson or something. For some reason, even with words and things, it's nice when you can easily line stuff up to things. And this is a bit more like working with graph paper. You can be a lot more precise with how you line up your boxes and things like that when it's all little squares rather than big wide lozenges like Excel default. So that's the area I'm going to work with. The rest I'm not interested in. So to save my eyes and scrolling and all this, here's a great little tip. Select column BB. I'm going to Control, Shift and press the right button to select all the columns, and you can see, my goodness, we get Excel's even thinking about it funny, we get to XFD. So there's tens of thousands of columns that you could use. What I'm going to do is select that, right click and hide all those columns. So now when I scroll, that's my area of focus. And I'm going to do the same from just after my cells 105 onwards. So I'm going to select the row 107, Control Shift and this time down, so selecting everything down. And my goodness, you've got to a bottom of the Excel spreadsheet for the first time in your life possibly, and you can see that's over 1 million rows you can potentially have in Excel. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend having a million rows of data. You're best off using Power BI or something like that, because unless you've got a souped up computer, it will just fall over. But anyway, and again, I'm going to right click and hide those two. So this is my dashboard area with a bit of buffer at the edges, just so I can focus more on that. What I'm going to do first is select from A1 to AZ8. This is going to be my title area, and remember we set up the colors earlier, so if you've still got your fill colors in your recent colors area, then that's handy. But this is where it starts to become handy that you kind of go to your colors, get that hex if you want. So look at my video 2, I think it was, where I set out the also in video 2 the sheet tabs and the color scheme, as well as all the data in video 2. But I'm going to fill this in a dark teal for my header, and from row 9, so cell A9, AZ to 82 is going to be the area in which my nice charts and graphs will reside. I'm going to give that a kind of a nice light grey background, so that my subtle white shapes will stand out on that, because the best, as I show in my practices for perfect presentations, the best and most accessible thing you can do is have very dark text or colors on a white or light background. So try and avoid all these kind of designs where there's fancy dashboards being created on all these kind of fancy background colors. It might look somewhat appealing, but you'll start to get problems when you've got text you've got light text on a slightly darker background, and it just won't be accessible. You can create nicely designed stuff without having to use the whole gamut of millions of colors. So less is more in that way. Just a little design tip for you there. And then from rows 83 of my dashboard to 105, this is where the slices are going to be. So I'm going to do that a middle color, because my slices are going to be dark as per my Blue Peter, here's what I made earlier dashboard. I'm just going to deselect admin. So I've got bespoke slices. I'll show you how to do that in, I think that'll be video 6. So there's the space organized. At this point, I also want to sort out the, in my follow along, if you're using this follow along tab, you'll also already have your data and pivots in place. But next I want to sort out the page breaks, and I've got a quick hyperlink print preview and print in my customized quick access toolbar, which you can use that drop down menu there and tick that box to get those options up. It saves you having to go to the page layout and doing it the kind of the long way. So on my print preview, as a default, it's going to give me loads and loads of pages, which is annoying. So first thing I want to do is sort out the scaling so it fits everything, the whole sheet, on one page. So let's start there. So that's almost very good, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. It's just slightly offset to the left for me. So what you can do, instead of normal margins, I'm going to go custom margins, and I'm going to just nudge it in from the left by creating a bigger margin there. So instead of 1.8, I'm going to go just up a step, 2.3, click OK. That's moved it over slightly. That's looking a bit better. So now whenever someone creates a PDF of this dashboard, it will show the title stuff at the top, the charts all set as per the selections, and the selections that have been selected at the bottom as per the slices. So that's all fine. So I'm just going to click back here. So starting from the top, let's get our titles in order. So you can select text boxes, or you can, one thing I quite like to do is merge cells for my title, but either way is fine. So I'm going to select an area, go to my home and merge and center that, but I don't want it centered, I want it aligned left. So I'm going to click that one. And this is going to be called my Dunder Mifflin people dashboard. So this is the title of my report. You can barely see that text at the moment because it's dark text on a dark background. I don't like Aptos narrow, I like Arial. And I'm going to increase the text size. Go as big as you can so it's completely readable, and obviously I'm going to go for white, white text. Next I'm going to have a subtitle. So I'm going to select 2 rows of several columns of cells now. I'm going to merge and center that. Go to the left again, and this time I'm going to have my subtitle. I'm just going to copy this text here from my completed one, because it's important to introduce clearly your report, what it shows, what it's doing, and all that kind of thing. Can't go too big with that. With a merge cell, it won't spill over to the right, so just be aware of that. And again, I'm going to choose my Arial font. Now I need to minimize that text a bit. So there we go. So there's my heading and subheading. You can it's quite good to have a contact. So what we're going to do is insert our first shape. So shapes are under the illustrations area. Under shapes, I like the rounded rectangle. That's going to be a common one we use throughout. So who's updated it, who to contact for updating it, and I'm just going to move that here. And this is where the beauty of the alignment with the square rows and columns comes in. So you can see them at the top, but you can't see when you've coloured in the cells anymore. But what you can do, a little trick, is you hold down Alt as you move it. So I'm moving it. Now this is going to align it with the nearest borders of those cells. So now, see that? Alt is making an extra row longer or an extra column wider. So now let's put our name in here, so who to contact. Obviously this is a dashboard based on the Office characters, so Toby Flenderson is the person updating this report and who to contact. You can even hyperlink something, a shape, once you've input it in there, or an image, just by right clicking on it and inserting a link. So you can set up a link so you can invite questions about your dashboard, for example. If that's you, set it up to email you. Similarly, you can just insert a picture here. So I might like the Dunder Mifflin logo. So what I can do is I'm just going to copy that from my completed thing, Control and C, my completed dashboard, Control V to paste. I'm going to give a row border at the edge, and I'm going to make this a bit narrower, or move it across a bit. But you can insert an image by using the insert tool here. Rather than shapes, you can go for pictures. And what I would advise is always go for the place over cells, and you can choose from stock pictures, this device. So if you've got your logo stored in a folder, you'll go to this device. And again, you can give that logo a link to your website. Next, let's just tidy this up. Toby works in human resources, obviously. This is a HR's report of their own people data. I'm going to go to home and I'm going to tidy this up. So in terms of my shape fill, I'm going to make that the light teal color. You get more options on the shape format actually. Shape outline, I don't like my shapes with outline, so I'm just going to go no outline. Back to home. I'm going to change this again to Arial. Make the text as large as I can and bold. I'm going to Alt and hold it to make it an extra cell wider. I'm going to put everything in the middle, and I'm going to align everything to the center. Now, so not all the text is showing, so I actually need to make that a bit smaller. So there we go, there's my name, who's running this report, the company, the title, subtitle. What I might also want to do is have a, just aligned with this, a last updated date. So if I merge and center, so that people know when they're looking at the dashboard, when it was updated. Now, a quick tip here, you can select all and go for Arial so I don't encounter this again when I'm trying to enter text in cells. What that might do is change your, I forgot to show the row widths. I set the row widths at 23 pixels as per my original dashboard, and what that does, it's just a slight tweak. It moves things up a little bit so that when I go to my print preview, it's using up slightly more of the page. So now I will make that white, make it bigger. I'll keep it in the center, but I want it lifted to the kind of top of that one, and I'll do the same, merge center with these. And this is going to be a date that I place on the intro page, so I'm going to reference a date, so I'm going to leave that for now, but I'll just manually put it in for now. And let's align that to the middle as well, so it lines up with the last updated, and I'll align it left so it's close to that and leaves a little bit of a gap. And then finally I want to insert an icon for our people dashboard. I've actually used a piece of paper with the man and woman on it, which is akin to the Office intro. So here we're going to go to Insert, Icons, let that load, and if I just search paper, because this is the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, and I like that one with a thick border. And also, let's just find the people. Here we are. There's my one with the man and woman. So I'm going to insert two icons at once and then manually edit them. Obviously, with all your rows and columns hidden, you can't drag things far to the right because that right no longer exists anymore because we hid all that. So this is the only area you've got to work with. So if you want to hide those at a later time, you can, but I like to get it done early. So get that out of the way. So again, I'm going to hold down Alt as I move and adjust the size of things to make things align to the text, to the cells, sorry, the square cells. My graphics fill is going to be white, so it stands out. Same with this one, white, but this time I'm going to make it reside within that paper. And this one I'm going to be a bit more precise with where I place things, so I'm not holding down Alt for that. So there's my header. For later on, you might want to insert a home icon so that people can navigate back to the introduction, because as I showed you in the demo video, there's a way of navigating this report so people don't have to use the tabs at the bottom. So if I just type home, the home icon down here seems to be the most familiar one. I'm going to insert that, and I'm going to place that just to the right of here so that it's easily visible. Again, my graphics fill makes it white. And what we'll do is we can link that now to a place in this document, to the intro, screen tip, go home. So the screen tip is what hovers over it before you press it. See that? So I'm hovering over it. People can see it's a link. That takes me to the intro page, of which there's nothing here, but on a completed dashboard, it will take me here and people can navigate through the rest of it using these buttons at the top and the home buttons on each page. And there's one with the Dunder Mifflin website linked. Right, next on the dashboard, we need to get our space ready for the charts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select in cell B10 here, so giving a bit of buffer. My charts are going to not be butted up right against the sides of the page, but there'll be a little bit of buffer in between. So as per here, I want to just emulate this white shape here. So I'm going to go to Insert, go to my shapes again. I'm going to use my rounded rectangle. I select and then hold Alt as I'm pulling it down, dragging it down. I'm just going to get it roughly right at the moment. Going to make that not so rounded corners, and and I'm going to, under the shape format, I'm going to have no outline again. Shape fill is going to be white, and you see how that kind of is a nice subtle touch, so that when you place a chart on there, all the focus is on the chart with a nice subtle background and not so much on your coloured background and so on. So where I want this precisely, if I hold down Alt, I want this 10 to 16 cells it's going to fill in. And in this I'm going to have my 2 text boxes and title for the overall employee count. Now you can use your insert icons to find the employees. So I'm going to do the first one, and then I'll show you, you can do the next ones later. I'll just copy and paste. And then a text box for the title. So I'm going to go to insert a text box, which is right over here under text box. So I want that as just the first 2 rows, and I'm going to call that total employees. Annoyingly, it's gone back to the default, but we only have to change this once because we're going to copy this text box in future. So back to Arial, make it bold. My text color, to be in keeping with everything else, I want it that dark teal. I'm going to increase the size of the text, not too overbearing because you'll need space on the others, and I might even give a bit of an extra space for my icon, because using icons is an extra visual aid to help people locate the information. One border I can see though is that text box border, so that's a bit lame. So I'm going to select the text box, go back to my shape format, under outline. I've already had no border as a fill color before, so I'm just going to press that again, and that goes. Now next I'm going to insert an icon for employee. Oh, there we are. Yeah, it's an employee icon. So there's an icon for everything in Microsoft. You might want to look at my video on PowerPoint shapes, inserting shapes and icons, buttons and icons. It's pretty much the same as Excel. So I'm just holding down Alt as I align it with that top left corner, and then I'm going to hold down Alt as I bring it up in that space. And I'm going to kind of make it a bit more squashed. There we go. Too wide and too tall. That seems okay. Oh, and with that shape, the shape format, select the shape, or the graphics format as Excel calls it. I'm going to have that also in that teal color. So that space for my total employees is now ready. So now I've got a starting shape and a starting title. I'm going to select both, just Control C and Control V to copy them, and then I'm going to move them precisely to my next available area of the dashboard. This is going to be my salary costs. So I'm going to call this salary costs, and then my next shape and area will be for the headcount summaries. You don't need me to run through all this with me, but what I'll do is just show you each area. So we've got the cost by department, the headcount summaries. This shape goes to cell 29 if you want to be precise with it, AB 10 to AY 29. Then we get to our next set of charts. So this has got 24 charts or metrics within it. So it's good to kind of sort out all the shapes and things and graphics first, but you know how to do it now. I won't go into the detail of each because I want to keep this a bit of a shorter video, but we will reconvene when you have all those shapes sorted. And don't worry, it doesn't need to be completely precise. If I zoom out a bit, you can see where those all reside. So following the first row, all the rows I've kept to within that Z column. So all those are within B and Z, all those are within AB and AY. And then the last one is the full width, but only within 74 row 74 and 81. So that's sorting out your dashboard space. If I just go to my notes that I put on this, just to kind of cover some pointers that I'd like to share with you. So this is the time consuming bit. In this video I've shown you how to just sort out the canvas, because that's half the job, getting that canvas right. For then it becomes easier when you want to overlay your charts. In the PDF, when you export this, people will see the charts and the slices that you've used. I've mentioned that icons are really helpful for ergonomics, and you've got those to choose from under the Insert tab of the ribbon. And the text, you can use text boxes and shapes. They're really maneuverable. You can hold down Alt to align them with your cells. But just make sure that you double check your spelling, because there's no real spell checking in Excel, or not easily done. So just get a second pair of eyes on your report. And I've shown you how to sort out the page margins and setup. Obviously, sometimes the first time you adjust page margins, you get these marching ants appear on your Excel sheet, so you can remove those in this deep down buried area called File Options, Advanced, and Display Options for this worksheet. Scroll down to that and then find the switch off page breaks, and that will remove that for you. The next set of notes is more for the when we do the charts in the next video. So we've gone through, we've made our columns narrower, we've laid out the sections, we've created a pleasing header title that was quite the time consuming bit. I've sorted out the page margins so it fits to one page. We've hidden all the other stuff. We've created some shapes and arrangements to place the charts on, which you can then go ahead and replicate for the rest of the dashboard. There's no point me going one by one through all that. And then we've created icons and titles in each of those shapes, or we did as an example in the total employees and salary costs, but you can go ahead and Control C, copy, paste all these. And the last thing I'll show you, for the bigger charts, for the bigger areas, if I just do this one as an example, what you'll notice as you make a shape bigger is that the rounded corners get bigger too, but you can just move those by just dragging that yellow bit to align better with a previous one, so that your rounded corners all line up nicely. So there we go. So that's the steps. Next time we're going to create those charts, and then in the video after we'll do the slicers, and if you want, as a finishing touch, I'll do a quick video on your intro page, tidying and saving it. I hope you found that helpful. Again, this series is longer. You're going to learn dashboards within a day. Obviously you're going to learn how to do it properly and encounter and deal with all the issues that you might find along the way, which you won't really get in the kind of, oh, here's a dashboard in an hour or even 20 minutes video. Of course, we could create something slapdash that's very quick, but usually those aren't starting from scratch. This one I've started from the data to the pivot tables on that data, methodically going through. We're creating the dashboard space within that, and then the charts to fulfill that. The slicers, if I go to my completed one, to manipulate that data within the dashboard, and then polishing it off with a nice introduction sheet. But until next time, I hope you found that helpful, and take a look at my blog for all the steps, ito.blog/blog, and take care.